Good morning, Bore Da. We are in reading 12 today of our Essential Jesus series, and the main text for today's reading is Exodus 16 and also leaping into John 6. So a bit of the Old Testament, a bit of the New Testament. And the writer of our devotional puts in context what these readings are about. And he uses it by using the analogy of a trailer, like a TV trailer or a film trailer. And they, of course, summarize or introduce to us what's the coming attraction going to be like. Usually it kind of captures a taster of the main parts of the film or whatever it is, so you have an idea of what's coming. And that's what we're about here. Something in the Old Testament foreshadows or gives us a trailer of something to come later in the New Testament. These are also called types. A biblical type is simply a thing, a person, perhaps, or an event in the Old Testament that points towards Jesus in the New Testament. And today's reading is all about bread and about food and bread. And Jesus famously referred to himself as the bread of life in John 6, verse 35. But we're looking at the trailer for what was about to happen in John 6, and it happens in Exodus 16, which shows God's miraculous provision of food for the Israelites in the desert. And this is the trailer, if you like, for the way Jesus himself is described as the bread of life in the New Testament, as God's miraculous provision for our spiritual health. So the devotional describes how God has taken the Israelites out of Egypt through the Red Sea, amazingly, but the long journey through the desert has caused them to complain to Moses about the lack of food. They're hungry. And he notes, this the writer, that the word grumble is mentioned 7 times in the first 11 verses of that chapter. And they seem to have lost perspective somehow, don't they? Forgot rather quickly what kind of a life they had in Egypt. They were all slaves in Egypt. Imagine that, a whole nation becoming the slaves to serve another nation. Well, that's what happened in Egypt. But now they're saying they would rather go back to Egypt than go hungry in the desert. So how does God respond? Well, he's gracious. He doesn't punish them for their negativity. Instead, he miraculously provides for them, literally manna from heaven. And the writer of our devotional says that it's encouraging that God uses the Israelites' moment of weakness as an opportunity to help them grow. Read about that in verse 16, or chapter 6, 16, verse 4. So thank God that he doesn't wait for us to be perfect before he helps us. That's the observation that comes from that. So Jesus actually tells us that this section in chapter 16 of Exodus is a trailer for himself in John 6. How do we know that? Well, he actually references the Exodus 16 chapter. When the religious leaders wanted a miracle on demand, Jesus actually referenced that passage. First, he told his accusers to stop grumbling. That's in verse 43 of John 6, an illusion that the Israelites would have recognized. But then he got on to the main point. He said, just as Moses provided manna to meet the physical needs of the people, so he, Jesus, was the true bread who satisfies the ultimate needs of all people. The need for a restored relationship with God. And of course, that's Jesus' miracle. He offers that to us by faith in him. And just like the Israelites, they were all slaves in need of rescue, and it could be said that we are slaves in need of rescue. What are we slaves to? Well, fear and sin and so on, all the negative things in life. And we are in need of rescuing from those. But Jesus offers us to set us free. And in Luke 4, verse 18, he said exactly that. He said he came for the very purpose of setting the prisoners free, to do us good, not harm. And so on reflection, that analogy is quite a good one, isn't it? The coming out of slavery, the being fed in the desert as a walk of faith with Jesus in the New Testament. And the analogy of food and spiritual life is a good one. If we don't eat food, preferably healthy food, but we will become ill and ultimately die. Something we forget sometimes in our Western culture, where we're never without enough food, are we? If anything, we're trying to cut down on the amount we eat. But you see, if that's true of physical food, crucial for physical health, it's also true of spiritual food. That's crucial for our spiritual health and life, isn't it? And Jesus provides us with that spiritual food. We figuratively feed on him through the word of God in the Bible and through prayer. Without him, we don't have any life. So how do we apply this? Well, the devotional says, or asks this question: where are you today in your journey with Jesus? And he encourages us to pray, forgive me, Lord, for the times I grumble. Help me to focus on the good things that you have given me, including yourself. Well, we'll leave it there. God bless. Bye for now.